Hi, welcome. So YouTube Live. I'm doing this live from my home in Vancouver. And let me just check to make sure everything is working. I'm also recording it on Zoom so that there will be individuals, then I can make individual videos for the live. And then I'll just put it in the chat. So first name, pronoun. And then I just need your first name and your question. And I will put a description in it, but it's kind of is opening very slowly, so I've kind of given up. So I've just put the basics in the chat, which is your first name, your preferred pronoun, so he, she, they, and then year of birth and your question. And then just try to keep the questions personal to you in terms of because we don't have other people's consent. So free will is very real in the way that you don't want to be accumulating other people's karma, basically lessons by kind of crossing their sovereignty. So this work is that, we're all sovereign beings here to awaken and to heal and to release what is no longer on. Yeah. So I'm just going to see if I can put the, yeah, so we don't want to kind of get into to other, we have enough with our own stuff. We don't need to also get involved into other people's thing, and they can ask the questions themselves too. And so just to remember that in these sessions with energy work and energy clearing, the body gets very dehydrated. So we always want to make sure that we're hydrated. Drinking water is really important. Okay, so as we arrive in this space now. So just off the top, we're just going to do some communication, kind of some updates in this work. So what is seer work? That's what I get the question most of the time. Like, what's the difference between being psychic or being a medium or being a seer? And a seer is kind of like a multidimensional eyes seeing. And but it arises through presence through the heart. And then we're connecting to the inner body, which is the compass. And then that pillar inside of us, which is source. It's like our essence, our the connection to source, but it is a pillar inside, like an energetic pillar. So it's not something we have to go out and search for. It's inside us. And the person that has done the most work in terms of bringing this forward has been Eckhart Tolle. And so for him, it's connecting through the heart and going into the inner body, and then connecting to the deep eye, which is that pillar of light that connects to source. And Eckhart uses the word presence, divine presence. And then also too, the work is like eyes open. So sometimes I close my eyes, sometimes I look, um, and then, but I also look down and look into my heart, because that's where the answers are coming through. But it's eye to eye, like you're conscious. So when you're listening to the answers, once you have a question, you're listening to the answers, your eyes are open and you're also seeing how does it feel in your body? So sometimes you'll have like a burp, or sometimes you'll get chills, or sometimes what I call like angel bumps, where you get that kind of like goosebumps all over, which isn't something that you can control. So it comes on like as a truth, what I call like they're really source bumps, because source is confirming yes. Um, and then when we go into presence through the heart, the information that comes through in the present moment, but it also is very precise because we're looking for the answers to come from the root cause. And for the very first incarnation, even if you don't believe in other incarnations, we want to kind of pull things from the root. Okay, so we're not looping, and we're not like, I got to do this over again and I got to try harder and I got to do everything over. Okay, so we want to interrupt that. That's like a system that has been kind of placed over us, but it isn't, it's like fake, basically. Um, And we want like the regulated clarity. Like the body is the litmus test. So the body will register if this is true. And so you don't have to believe anything I say. You just have to connect in with your heart and then see how does your body respond? Do you feel like a release? Do you feel like a detox kind of happens after? That usually comes through the skin. So I had somebody recently, and they did one of the decrees, and they did like um, so I'm going to be putting them on YouTube, like in a series, and they're going to be free because this is something everybody can do if they choose. But a decree is basically, I am sovereign. I sever all of these cords that are not for my highest and greatest good. And it is done. Like I'm claiming it, and I am putting my foot down. So, and you're doing it, you're declaring your own liberation. I'm sovereign. I'm free. I know who I am. I'm connected to source. The information that I need comes to me. So it's not a request, it's not a ritual, it's a command. It's like, I'm declaring what this is. I'm not waiting for permission for someone to say, oh, you got to be nicer, you got to give more chances. It's kind of like really good teachers, like Eckhart, you could meditate with him and you could be around him. But if you were doing it for yourself, like if you were doing it like a fan, like, oh, Eckhart, you're so amazing, you weren't around him very much, right? So the decrees that I'm going to put, I haven't posted them yet, but they're going to be on YouTube and they're going to be a series. So, like, why would we want to do a decree? Is that the cords are draining. The loops are exhausting. They irritate the nervous system, they irritate the body. It drains your energy and you feel like ick, like there's something not right. There's something around me. There is it like, I have people say like, is it like an entity? Is it like like what is ah, something's bothering me. It's not funny. And then the reincarnation do-overs. Oh yeah, come in with the same people and do over and then see, if you can improve it, but you're the only one working. They don't care. They're not doing any work. So so in the decree, we write it down, and then you write it in your own handwriting, and then you speak it out loud 3 times, and then we burn that piece of paper. And I had to burn, when I did my first degree, I had to burn the paper 3 times. There was 2 names that wouldn't burn. I know who they are, I'd be really exposing them, but I had to burn those names 3 times. And so it's not that you're like judge of them or you're saying I'm better than them. You're just saying like I'm free and you're free. We're both free. Everybody's free, right? And so I did the first decree I did was the family. And then the second decree, is financial because we know we're in this weird, where you go to the grocery store and it's like you buy a few things and it's $70. And it's like, how can a few things be $70? Canada's groceries, I think, have increased in Vancouver 70% in prices. And so what they're doing is they're kind of creating half of everything. So it's like what used to be 6 in 1 pack is like 3 in 1 pack, or, it's like the price is increasing and also the things are shrinking, right? So we'll do a financial decree and then we'll also do a work decree because so many people want to know, well, what's my calling? What am I here for? What am I doing? And especially if you have like, a boss or supervisors that, um, like I had one person, he did the decree and he at his work, like he's high functioning. And when he's working, the other people don't do any work. And so you can kind of see who's working and who's not. So he said to his supervisor, like, hey, like I'm here, I'm doing the work, and then when I'm here, nobody's doing the work. And the supervisor said to him, mind your own business. Don't monitor other people. So anyways, we did a decree for that because that's madness. It's kind of what is going on. So so that's what's going to be coming through on kind of like as a series. And then you can kind of decide, you can decide where, you can decide for yourself. If it resonates, you will know, right? You will feel it in your body. And so yeah, welcome. So I see Cindy just here. And she just said, yeah, I can't stand working for anyone anymore. I totally hear you. That it's, the whole structure of the work environment. So that's one of the decrees. So, but in terms of the seer work that we're doing here, we're looking for regulated clarity that is sustainable. So we want it, because if you gather information, kind of like you can get psychic information, from the third eye, and you can, I can see entities, I can see timelines, I can see all of that. But what's different with seer work is that we're also landing it in the body, and the body always tells the truth. Like, even if we want to like somebody, your hair will start falling out. You will gain weight. You'll start what you think is bad luck. They're kind of have a glow up around you. And then you're like, wait a minute, I I like looked good before them. Like my life was okay without them. And then they seemed like they were like, whoa, so dazzling, so special, right? Lots of love bombing. But your body will tell the truth. You'll get sick, your face will break out, you'll lose money, you'll be confused like in a fog. So that's kind of the body will resonate with the truth. So even if they're like a dazzling, sparkly person, your body will reject them because your compass is in service of source. And if it's not source aligned, your body will do absolutely everything to eject that person out of your life. And then as soon as you break up with that person, whoa, your life is so much better. Not in 6 months, not in like a long period of time, but in very quickly. If you trust yourself and trust your body and the messages that you're getting. That's so funny. Yeah, somebody just said, Sunny just said, laugh out loud. Yeah, that's the X. And it's the typical X because it's an empath and a narcissist, right? So what I call the dark triad. So the psychopath, sociopath, narcissist. And it's not the creepy guy in the basement. It is the good-looking guy, the guy that has a good job, the guy that does a lot to make sure everybody likes them. He's going around or she's going around making sure everybody sees them. Oh, they're so smart, they're so beautiful, they're so dazzling, right? It's not the weirdo, it's not the creepy guy in the basement. That's who we're told is the psychopath. So, but your body will register it. Your body will truly register the truth. Even if you don't, even if you're not ready to see or admit the truth, your body will register the truth. Yeah. So I guess my unique angle is always that it needs to be precise, like a golden arrow, like, you know, has to ping. And, we're perceiving it and then we're making adjustments. We're seeing kind of in the whole being, kind of, well, where's the block? What's interfering? And what's interfering with the compass? So I had a phone call just before. Usually I have like construction workers show up on my balcony, not any other time, but during the YouTube lives. And I have like a phone call. And this time the phone call said, "This is a spam call." Last time I would just get the spam calls and I would answer thinking, oh, is it an emergency? Because, we don't really use the phone that much. We use texts and email more than anything. And today it actually said potential spam call. So anyways, progress, right? Now I have like the construction workers have abandoned the balcony and they have left their tools for, I think, a week now, and they're just like abandoned. Anyways, so it's not, as you're becoming conscious and awakening and kind of removing kind of everything that doesn't belong to you, it doesn't mean, your life goes perfectly and it's all, peaceful. It is. Um, but it is more peaceful because inside I feel more peaceful, but the technology gets interfered with, the atmosphere gets interfered with. But every time I start the YouTube lives, I kind of call in the team of unconditional love. And that's the most important word. You can be like, who's your team? If you like angels and archangels, just call unconditional love. And even with my higher self, I say my higher self of unconditional love. So, and then connecting to source. I claim the technology in source's name. I put salt in the four corners, and I put essential oils on top of the salt in the four corners because I'm claiming this space. So this space is sovereign. And you get used to doing that. You get to be like, okay, I'm sovereign. I'm free. I am claiming this, but I claim it in source's name, not my name. I claim it in source's name, which is like kind of the overall. Eckhart uses the word divine presence. Okay. All right. So we're here. We've landed. Okay. So Sinija says hi to everybody. So thank you, Elaine, for doing what you do. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. The higher self said in your transmission, I'm good with hands. Let's see, in your transmission that I'm good with hands, what career, job, course, school, higher self recommends that I can take to sustain myself? Okay. Sanija, 1973, she, her. She's drawn to nature and spiritual. She can't stand working for anyone. And she affirmed that the earlier conversation about the ex, that is the ex. So we've found him. We've zoned in, but he is the typical ex. He's the typical dark triad, which always they need the empath. They always act like we need them, but they need the empath because they don't have energy on their own. They can only get energy by latching on to like an empath, a sensitive. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so career, just clearing the body. Just clearing the body first for Sanija. Um, releasing, releasing. So we started off with some communication, the kind of overview. Okay, so yeah, your higher self, the first thing wants you to be gentle with yourself, like to really have kindness, almost like the way you would be to like a bunny, like a pure white little bunny. Your higher self wants you to be that gentle with yourself. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that the changes are taking time, but what you're doing is you're changing your inner alignment and releasing what isn't yours, like a soft, like so soft. Because it feels like, okay, well, no, I need like momentum and I need to push ahead and I need to do. And, but you're changing the architecture inside of you to your sovereign state, which means you're releasing everything that is not yours. So that's like that's that's a big it's they're just saying it's a big release right now. You're really releasing right now. You're releasing your they're saying like you're releasing the like what has been kind of covering your DNA. So your DNA is source. It is that pillar of light inside of you. And so they're activating the DNA. So the DNA, what not just for Sinija, but for everyone was interfered with. Um, so the Anunnaki are the technicians behind that. And the Anunnaki, they used to be from source. They have a spark of divine, but they cut themselves. Well, they cut themselves off their own free will choice, but they went further and further and further. Like they wanted to be like, I can create a human being. I can create all this technology. I can. So anyways, they're the ones that interfered with the DNA. So we had 12-strand DNA, and then they changed it to 2-strand DNA. This is thousands of years. So anyways, our sovereign DNA is activating. And so your higher self says, your higher self is saying that your DNA is activating to its original design, which is 12-strand DNA. Okay, so just connecting into your higher self. So okay, so as soon as we have like our original template inside of us, like we have our full 12-strand DNA, we have our compass, which is the inner body. So we're registering things in our body. What's true, what's not, what's sovereign, what's not. And then we're connecting to that pillar of light inside of us that no one can extinguish. The Anunnaki cannot extinguish the pillar of light. The original source spark, they cannot extinguish that. I said distinguish, that's the wrong word, extinguish that. So that's what they're working on with you right now, because, and you can say yes. So I can say for myself, having the original DNA feels amazing compared to having the having that cut off. Okay, good. So as soon as that happened, it's like you're gonna feel open. You're gonna open your field, and you're gonna feel safe opening your field because you're connecting with your that inner pillar, which is the source alignment. And that's always been there. And so the interference is always to kind of confuse, to kind of um, get people kind of off track. That's always the goal, right? And so we're just asking that that is sealed in the name of Source. So this activation of the DNA is sealed in Source's name. Okay, good. And in order to bring this DNA activation through, it was through kindness, right? We didn't strong arm, we didn't demand, we did it through kindness. You know, because Sinija's looking for answers. She's looking for her true kind of calling. She's looking for how to sustain herself, how to have like a regular earth life. And an earth life needs money, an earth life, you know, needs. So good. Okay, so they're just clearing all the interference with the DNA with the goal of having your 12-strand DNA activated in the now, in this life now. So then you're going to have all of you available from source. Great. Okay, so release. So that's, the question is about career and work um, and sustaining yourself. And then right away, then it's like, okay, well, then the DNA needs activation, right? But you just say, yes, we're hearing, we heard. So they're just clearing the blockages because it always feels like what it feels like is something comes from behind you and just bops you on the head. Like it's just like you're kind of going along and then bam, there's something that just takes you down, you know? And there's no kind of balance. Like it's like you have a hard time kind of keeping up. So anyways, we're just going to clear. So they're bringing in a lot of fire to clear. So we're asking for the blockages to be released with truth, with justice, with balance, and with order. Yeah, they're saying that this will really help you feel aligned. And then your vision then kind of will be open. You'll be able to kind of sustain more, kind of not kind of be kind of taken down from behind, basically caught off guard. That was the dynamic. And then in the Egyptian timeline, Maat is the cosmic law, the principle, like the feather, the heart on one side, and then the feather on the other side. And then, in 2023, I went to one of Eckhart's talks, like a big public talk, like thousands of people, maybe 1,000, I don't know how many people. And he said, before I go to bed, I look at Maat. And before I wake up, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I look at Maat. So that's saying I'm looking at cosmic law, the principle, the feather. And I've never heard Eckhart talk that way, but that's basically what is being enacted for Sinija right now. They're looking at the cosmic law, like what is Sinija's, what is not Sinija's, what is bopping her from behind. Okay, good. Yeah, good, good. So a lot of fire, a lot of fire, but it's these kind of clearings, they're clearing for like, thousands of years where the DNA was messed with. So, and Sanija's kind of put her foot down. She wants to sustain herself. She wants to know what school or career or job is recommended for her. So want to know why. Why is that not already there? Why is this something that Sunija is struggling with? And so what is behind the blockage? Okay, so the first thing we looked at is the DNA, is what came forward. So Source's original DNA is 12 DNA for human beings, and it was altered to 2. So imagine, imagine how horrific that would be to go from 12 strand DNA. That source consciousness is 12 strand DNA, is source consciousness, to 2, which is like barely conscious, right? And that's been Earth. Okay, good. So just releasing the back and opening kind of like the unconditional love center, the heart, the unconditional love. So, yeah, and then just called in the cosmic law of Mat from the Egyptian timeline, the measurer of justice. So Mat is the law of everything that's measured against all, and then crossing free will is a big no. So the Anunnaki altering our original source DNA is a no, right? So that is what is getting kind of, I heard the reckoning. It's basically what is shifting now into 5D Earth, where they've kind of run out of time. So they kind of had this system happening for a long time, but anyways, they're running out of time because New Earth is, there's no hierarchy. It's source connected, source alignment, no subordination. But the Anunnaki only are about subordination because they think they're so smart. They think they're so tech smart. And, and yeah, so I always notice when my video kind of goes wonky, what am I saying? So I went kind of woo as I was naming that. So that's okay. We just keep coming back. And even with the interference, we keep coming back. So with Sunija, your team wants to say, your team of unconditional love, they want to say that right now they did the deep dive, which was activating your 12 strand DNA. Okay. And though the words right now are kindness, it's actually quite a big activation, but you're saying I want to know, I want to see, I want to sustain myself. And the best way to sustain yourself is to have your 12 strand DNA activated. Okay. And then your higher self, your team of unconditional love will also be there supporting you in guiding that. And the cosmic law has come in, the principle, the feather of justice, the balancing of the scales. So that will shift things for you very quickly. And then just know that Amput is like the priestess in the Egyptian timeline, and she is the one that enacts Mat. The Mat is like the law and the balancing of the scales. And then she's like the judge of the scales. And then behind her is also the divine masculine, because the divine masculine and divine feminine work together as a team, kind of like co-workers, but good co-workers. And that's Anubis would be the divine counterpart, the divine masculine. So he's like the guardian, between what was and what is now. So that's why they needed to kind of clear from your DNA and clear what is interfering with your DNA. So Anubis like guides, he weighs, he completes. So he basically finishes what Amput leads into. So that's kind of how the divine masculine, divine feminine work together. And that divine masculine, divine feminine is in all of us as a balance. So once we leave source in terms of journeying, we travel actually with the divine masculine and the divine feminine inside of us. And then what created the imbalance of 3D Earth was that they stopped traveling together. I don't know, it's quite esoteric, but they literally didn't travel together. And so then there was this split. And then now we're bringing the split back. But it happens first in us, and then it's mirrored on the outside. So yeah, need to just be kind with yourself, because these activations, can be a bit intense. So you might need to have extra water, baths with Epsom salts, or foot soaks with Epsom salts, baking soda, and let your body sweat it out. Your body might need to sweat it out. Just let it sweat out, because we've released the interference. Yeah. Yeah, claim your space in Source's name, claim your four corners with salt, essential oil, and just really claim your space, claim your body. And then everything that is not for you, now that we've enacted MAT, the cosmic law, will actually fall away. So I'm going to drink some water for you. Your higher self says you're ready. So good job. Okay, so we're going to close for Sunija and just put Sunija in the bubble of golden light from source. And then we're just asking that all of the clearing and healing and activations, these were activations, they're not something external, it's something that is internal. Okay. And they're just want to remind you again, like, be really kind. There's going to be some surprises in terms of release. So just be kind with yourself. Just allow the process in the next 3 days, I'm hearing. So then in the next 3 days. So the more you allow the detox to kind of happen, but think of the detox as everything that is not for your highest and greatest good. Okay, so we'll close for Sunija. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I was just reading one of Sinija's notes as she wrote in the chat. She's concerned about her children and the damage being done. So the fast track of that is having our own alignment first. And once we kind of steady and kind of call in the cosmic justice of Matt, um, with Amput and Anubis came forward from the Egyptian timeline, but they're kind of like cosmic in all timelines. So everything is seen, everything is documented, no one gets away with anything, but we need to just clear our own body, our own vessel is the wording that's coming up. So, but know that the principle, the cosmic balance, truth, justice, and balance has been called. So everything is going to be measured and looked at kind of in a fine-tooth comb, I'm hearing. So yeah, just be kind with yourself. So detox, just know might be really hot, but just, have baths and drink water and then just kind of let it all out. It's not yours. Yeah, so good. So thank you, Sinija. So again, we'll close and end with Sinija and then close with a circle of sources golden light. So thank you. So we're just clear, clear, clear. Good, good, good. Anyways, they're saying you're good. They're saying you're good. You're golden. They said you're golden. So they said you're golden. So just remember that. I'm golden. I'm sovereign. I'm free. Yeah. All right. So I'll send lots of love and thank you. Thank you for your question. Okay. 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 So Lynn, 1962, she, yeah. And if your pronouns from like how you were, your birth, like just kind of say that. Your identifier is your name and your year of birth. You're consenting to kind of like your field to be looked into, right, with your higher self. So we're just going to claim the Wi-Fi and source's name. Okay. So my Wi-Fi got turned off. So I'm in the city. I have excellent Wi-Fi, so sometimes they don't. Yeah, so my Wi-Fi got turned off. Turned off, and then I just turned it. Yeah, so we're having some interference with technology. I'm gonna call it that it was the Anunnaki without going into Fantasyland. But anyways, they're the ones that um, are all about the technology and altering our DNA and kind of messing with our human being, us as a source human beings. Okay, so again, just going to claim the Wi-Fi and source's name. I'm going to claim the Wi-Fi and source's name, the internet and source's name, the Zoom and source's name. I'm going to claim YouTube and source's name. I'm going to claim, let's claim like the cables, the electrical cables and source's name. That's how the Anunnaki work with electrical, kind of like they send like these electrical currents that like agitate our body and irritate us, you know? So we say to ourselves, oh, I'm not going to drink. And then there's this prod, and then, oh, you know, somebody shows up, oh, let's go for a drink. And you've already decided you're not drinking. And then, so it's kind of that kind of is what we're calling interference. So it can be interference with technology, but it can also be interfering with your sovereignty. Like when you decide something for yourself and you say, well, I'm not going to do that. And then you're doing it. You know, I'm not going to, you know, so hopefully you can see it, it's back on. So kind of like what is the system underneath everything? And that's what we're doing in this seer work. And so for me, it's like I can see I can see it. I can feel it. You know, it feels agitating, like electrical current like this. It's in the nervous system, you know, they kind of where they go for agitating is like through the nervous system. But, you know, and then you start seeing, okay, well, what's mine and what's not mine? You know, what is going on? And you're looking in what is going on. Okay. All right. So let's just release. Okay. So we're going to connect with source, bringing in the source golden light, connecting with our hearts, connecting to the inner body through the heart. Yeah, and you're looking through the heart. Okay, so Lynn, 1962, she. So I wish to have help bringing in a male soul counterpart I can work in service with as well as romantically. Please. Okay, so thanks, Lynn. So that's always, we want to bring in our soul family and our soul partnerships, the true she's the divine feminine, so the true divine masculine. And originally, when we came from source, we came with both the divine counterpart and the divine feminine, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So that's what's happening with New Earth. So that interference that has been happening with like the false partnerships, like the narcissist and the empath, you know, that dynamic has been the main dynamic for decades. But we want the heart aligned counterpart and somebody we can really play with, you know, that it's like a good tennis game, you know, like they hit the ball and you hit the ball, and then they hit the ball and you hit the ball, and there's this fairness, you know, there's this play. So that's what your higher self is saying that they're really wanting to bring into Lynn's life is play. Like Lynn's life has been, they use the word hell, and they want Lynn to have play. They want her to play, and then bringing in the divine counterpart. Okay, so we're just kind of looking at the timeline and then clearing. Actually, again, priestess Anput and Anubis, the divine masculine counterpart of Amput. Let's enact the mat principle. Let's call in justice. Let's call in cosmic law to kind of clear all what we want to call like all the false partners that were like brutal lessons. They were brutal lessons. So let's clear. we're just going to clear. So that's, and then this will be in the cosmic records. So this isn't like, oh, we're going to clear and then, oh, they're going to resurface. It's like, no, we're sending them back where they came from. we're, Matt is enacting the cosmic law, which means, you know, your feather, your heart, and then the feather of Matt is the scales are looking at, okay, well, what's yours? What's theirs? And let's clear it once and for all. So no more looping. So Matt is the law that everything is measured against all. So it's looking, we're looking for balance, we're looking for harmony. We're looking at, okay, what's ours and what's not ours? Because we can break up with people and they're still in our field, you know? It's like they're not even here and they're like in the field. So let's clear the field. So that's basically that's the work that's being cleared right now. So bringing in truth, justice, balance. I'm hearing no more funny business. No more funny business. So we're just clearing really quickly through the hair just because it's a fast track. Yeah, good job. Yeah, good. Yeah. So we're clearing the tracks first. Yeah, clearing. So clearing. And so how do I know when the clearing is done? Is it will register in my body and I'll hear like, so just doing some releases. So just allow the releases to come out. It's a very, you know, like the hair is very fast track, like burping is a very fast track. So it's like, you know, because it could be lifetimes, this dynamic, right? But it is an interference dynamic. And so many now are, by clearing all of these tracks, they are now able to bring in their divine counterpart, which is their true divine masculine, not the faker, not the false persona person, not the fake one that came in that made your life, you know, hell. it's that's the word that's coming up. It's not nice, you know, because it's like he barely survived. So you made it, but it was tight, you know, it was a close call. So they're just clearing. Okay, good. And when Matt, the cosmic law, comes in, the principle, it clears in all time spaces for the now. And once it is done, it is done. Right? Because she looks at everything, right? Or they do as a team and put in Anubis. And nothing gets past Anubis, I'm hearing. Like he checks every corner. He looks for the sneaky snakes. Like nothing gets past him. So once we call them in, well, your higher self called them in, the team, I call them. Yeah, so he completes, he looks at everything. And so this is a big clearing. So Lynn, you'll feel, I'll be curious to see how you'll feel, but you will feel really good. Because we're making sure that the divine masculine, first of all, can find you. So that, but that's by clearing the interference. And it's somebody that you can play with, like you can really have like a good life with, you can create with, play is creation. And I'm seeing in the sun, they're saying in the sun, you're gonna meet them in the sun, like you'll be in the sun, sandy beach, sunny. But we're doing the energetic work now, but you'll meet them at a beach. You'll meet them at the sand, the sun, you know. Um, okay, good. So we always want to ask, is this source? Is this emanated from source? Right? Is this sovereign? Right? We want to know the installations, we want them out of the field, right? We don't want the fake masculine. Enough of that already. The women have been decimated by that fake masculine. Uh, so that they're almost like an installation. They're not from source. They're like a installation is the word that's coming through. So, but we're only asking for aligned transmissions from source. And, some men for sure, absolutely. There's many empaths that are men too, and they are eaten alive. I mean, are the words that are coming through. Okay, so just clearing. So how you're going to meet your divine counterpart, Lynn, is through fun and play, and it will be sunny and sandy. Sunny with sand, not sandy. I don't know why I said that. Maybe that's the name. Sandy? No. Sand. Anyways, it will be with the sand. So yeah, and it's not there's like a type of narcissist that's like a covert narcissist where they act like they're poor, like poor them, and they have, oh, everybody does them wrong, and not like that. Okay, that's not the divine masculine. The divine masculine is not like that. Okay, the divine masculine is like, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. They understand, they have broad shoulders. They have like they're like Anubis where Amput leads and Anubis is like, yeah, and let me clear it all up, like let me get in and do the job, basically. That's the dynamic. That's the new earth. The new earth coupling is the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So that's a really good question, Lynn. So yeah, they're good. This is good. Oh, okay. And then Lynn just sent a message. She said that she thinks it's funny and that she's walking the Camino Pilgrim Trail in Portugal in May, the coastal path. So there you go. sunny, and hot. And let's see if that cutie patootie is there, your divine masculine. But we've cleared the path with priestess Anput and enacted Matt, the principle, to clear the space. So to clear the lineage, basically, to clear the false masculine, the false partner, the imposters. So clearing the imposters. So lots of love. So we will close for Lynn and then just bring in the source golden light for Lynn and everybody watching. That bubble of golden light, bringing it into our cells. So we have a nice healing into the cells in the inner body, connecting to the pillar of light through the heart. And then just remember the divine masculine and the divine feminine together are very playful. That's the litmus test. If it is not a playful dynamic, that is not the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Good. Yeah, thank you. A couple more messages we have from Sinija. She says she likes my curly hair. Yeah. And we know like hair, women's hair, there's always, change this, do this. But anyways, this is my real hair. My real hair without interference. So the straightening was a lot of interference to straighten my hair, but this is actually my real hair. My real natural hair is very curly or quite curly. And so, yeah, you'll see in different videos, my hair is like straight and then very blonde. And at one point I was like, my hair is yellow. I don't want yellow hair. So no dyeing it, no straightening, all of that's over. Yeah. And that's the thing is once you start doing these clearings, you're like, I don't want this. This isn't mine. This isn't this isn't me. This isn't my style. You start right away. It's like, oh, I know my style. I know what I like. And you're not, confused. You're like, you know what you want to eat. You know what, if you want to exercise or not. Like you're crystal clear. And once we release all of this interference and these installments and all of this interference is the strongest word, then we see who we truly are and that we don't need outside input. We know what we want to eat and when we want to eat. Like we're sovereign. We're like, no, there's no little strings pulling me. There's no weirdos coming around. It's like your body immediately, even if they are super good looking, registers the weirdo. And your body will say no. Even if they're so nice and so whatever, your body will tell the truth. Always. Right. And now we're getting rid of all the interference and installations. And you will be very crystal clear. So good. Yeah. And you don't have to, forgive yourself for the past because the past was part of the now and it's over. And now we're getting clear about the now, right? And really claiming our sovereignty in the now. So, all right, well, great session. So thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your questions. It's a beautiful community that we're creating. We had interference, but who cares? We just get back on and we keep moving forward. So that's the most important thing. And then once you have all the alignment, you're just clear. Yeah. So as we close, we're just releasing any interference, false guides, false false interference. Let's just call them the interference, because when I name them, my Wi-Fi gets turned off. Anyways, they always tell. You don't have to wonder, because they actually tell you who's here, because they love getting credit. They want, oh, we're so powerful. We can turn off your internet as soon as I say Anunnaki. My internet turned off. So, they like getting credit for things. So we don't have to wonder what's going on. We just have to notice and then stay with our own hearts and stay with our own compass, right? You know? And so thank you all. And yeah, and you're amazing. What a beautiful little community that we're creating. And remember your questions, you're brave. You're putting your questions out there, but your questions are helping lots of people, because, lots of people have Lynn's questions. Lots of people have Sanija's questions. So that's part of the human being experience. And we're here to kind of get rid of everything that is not ours. And I'm really glad and grateful that Priestess Amput and Anubis and Matt has come in to bring in the cosmic law to really make these changes, be updated in the records. Okay, so hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday, the same time. Yeah, good job. And thanks. Yeah. And Sunija says, looking forward to your decrees. And I will get on that. It's gonna be a series of videos, and you just do them step by step, and then I just walk you through them. But always follow your own sovereignty, follow what feels true for you. And that's basically what the decrees are. They're there to get rid of the muck, get rid of the people, places, and things that are not for your highest and greatest good, and to really claim your sovereignty at the deepest root level. And that's what we want always. And then to update the cosmic records. So thank you. And